This is Mark Whitten.
This is Adam MacArthur.
This is Ann Yatko.
This is Molly Chung.
Hey everybody, this is Michael Yurchak.
This is Daquan Wilshire.
This is Lexi Nieto.
This is Rico Fajardo, and you're watching.
And you're listening to Spoiler Force Podcast. Set your heart ablaze.
All right, so this is episode 153 of Spoiler Force Podcast. My name is Ricky, and thank you for tuning in. This week's guest, I have my cousin Michael, art by Kouki, on the podcast again. We are talking about The Witch from Mercury Season 1, or the new Gundam series that came out last season. Season 1 already ended, so if you have not watched it yet, please go watch it on Crunchyroll. It is completed in sub, but then the dub just dropped recently too, so I don't know how far they are at on the dub. I did speak with Natalie Van Sistine, who voices I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly. It's Mirione, right? Or
it's Miorine.
Miorine? Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying it wrong that whole episode. I was talking with her. Went back and listened to it. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna get chewed out for saying her name wrong. But yeah, so Natalie voices her. But yeah, so anyone who has not watched it yet, go watch it, because me and Michael are gonna just go right into it. Spoilers and everything. I know Michael's been waiting to talk about this series since it started. Like, I think, what was it, after like the first couple episodes, and then you went into that rabbit hole, right?
Yeah. Well, not really, because so I watched the prologue. I won't go into too much. I know we're gonna talk about it. Watch the prologue, and then like I was like, wow, that was like a crazy start to like a series. And then episode, it was like, I think a couple weeks before, and then episode 1 came out, and then I was more in awe of like I was completely mostly absent-minded of the prologue, because we'll talk a little bit more about it later, but the animation and the sound and just the way episode 1 played out, it literally gave me chills, and it had me hooked.
Usually you don't, like, you're not hooked onto anime like that, so to have like a series like this hook you, it says a lot too.
Well, because like Gundam, maybe I'm coming from like preconceived notion of like the last Gundam series that I like really watched was Gundam 00, and that one was like, oh, you still haven't watched that one yet, right?
It's on my playlist, but I have not watched it. I caught bits and pieces. I know like Bobby and Lynn are my roommates. They watch it from time to time, like whenever they just leave it on. So whenever they're like cooking or cleaning, they leave something like that on in the background. But I have watched bits and pieces of it, but I have yet to make time to watch it through. So
it's only when you fully delve in and like invest in the characters and invest in the world that they built that you see how drastic it shifts. And that shift is like, it's crazy, but it's such good story writing, and you get so invested in characters, so it kind of holds a special place in my heart. So maybe I'm coming with preconceived notions that I like and a fan of the series, so I am slightly impartial to that, but nonetheless, it's if you're here and you haven't watched it, go watch it, like, please.
I mean, I guess we could just start off with the prologue, right? Because that's how
Yeah.
the series started. Because I didn't even know that. I remember seeing the promotion for this, like just like on Facebook or on Instagram, like they'll show like, this is the first female led series. There hasn't been a Gundam series in a while. It is different for a series like Gundam to have a female led character, like I said, with the edgelord male characters usually being the lead. Hero is a big example of that.
It's kind of like
But
the
Soletta,
example.
yeah, but Soletta is a very different character, right? So like in the prologue, we get to see how the story just like takes off, and I didn't watch the prologue until after you watched it, and you kept telling me to watch it because before the season 1, before episode 1 drops, and I think it was on YouTube, right? It released on YouTube first,
Yeah.
and then it released on Crunchyroll. So watching the prologue, for me, my first impression of it took a while to kind of like wrap my mind around it, because with Gundam they always start out like the mechanic lingo and like all the politics and stuff like that. So like all that's a lot to take in for like just a prologue. Trying to they're when they're world building, it's a lot of information, a lot of like who's the villain, who's the good guys, who's the Mercury people, who's the Earth people, lots of different groups and names and stuff like that. So
With all the
for me, like
politics.
yeah, it's like when that gets thrown out like that for me, like for me personally, I lose interest right away because like there's too many names. I can't remember that. So but man, that prologue though, just the way how it ended is what made me like, wow, this is
Man,
this is different, because like it started off really like familial, very like positive, like we're using Gundams to help heal and build the galaxy or something like that. Then you have like the military folks like, no, they're gonna end up using that against us. We better like take it and weaponize it. So Michael, watching that on your first, like I guess if from what you remember watching, what was going through your mind as that prologue was playing out.
I can give you the whole like play by play because it's just like that's how good it was because you start with like it starts you off in tension because it's showing what's her Soleda's mom or Aries' mom, Elnora. She's in the pilot, and then she's piloting Gundam, and she's doing some. You don't know what's going on. She's piloting Gundam. It seems really intense. She's trying to do something, but it gets stopped, and then the granny is what Eri calls her, but she stops Elnora, and then as soon as Eri comes out, it's just like the whole mood changes. It shifts to like a happy scene. It's like really lighthearted, and then it just goes like a complete nosedive. Once like the colony gets attacked, and then like the thing that got me is they were showing like they were killing people the first episode, man.
Yeah. Like that one dude that gets headshot, right? I think he was like carrying the boxes or something. Or like
they're carrying the box, and the part that struck me is there was the lesbian couple, one of them sees what's going on through the smoke, and she turns and grabs the pilot Wendy, and it just says run and grabs her and pushes her off, and as soon as that happened, Wendy sees her get like shot in the head. And
right, yeah, right. Okay,
that's brutal, man. Like,
yeah.
And then just everything that it keeps ramping up, and then, all the way
like,
up
and then like when they fight in space and stuff like that, the Gundams and all that. Oh my god! Like I don't. You might have to like correct my terminology because I don't recall most of the names or the groups or whatever. But I do remember seeing the military group. Their Gundams or their weapons had like EMP abilities, and like they were like knocking out the other folks out the sky and shit, or out in like space and stuff and like that. And that's when like Aries' dad was taking over and fighting back, trying to get his wife and Aerie out so that they can leave. But then like I think at that time though, Aerie was in Ariel before like trying to figure out how to use it.
Yeah, or she was just trying to like like talk to. She just wanted to talk to because they do a good job in like making Lifrith, the Gundam that was there, it seemed like a person. So Aerie is kind of like talking to the Gundam like it's a sibling or something like that. And then the Granny tells her to why don't you try talking to it, but yeah, no, it's just the gravity that you feel like from the last quarter of the prologue is just like on the edge of your seat the whole time. So
yeah, it's I think for me like watching that prologue, man, like it was when seeing her dad die, like Aerie's dad die. That's where like that was like insane to see because like he again like their mobile suits are not meant for battle. So seeing them trying to fight off the military mobile suits and like them getting like again EMP'd and everything and then like even Aries' mom, she was trying to like get in the fight and he tells her like no, go, like take her and go because that's when but I do believe like that's when you see, because once Eri activated what's now Ariel, that's when like you kind of see like a glimpse of that battle, or like what the Gundam is, what it could
Yeah.
potentially do.
Mhm.
And so that's where like you see like the bits flying out and stuff like that, and like it gives you a good tease of how potentially strong this Gundam is compared to the other mobile suits. And then
And it's it's
yeah, go
very
ahead.
true to form though, because whenever I mean most Gundam, or at least the ones that I've seen. Disclaimer: I haven't watched any of the of UC. I mainly watch just the the alternate universes. But think about it. Gundam Wing, Gundam Double O. It's like as soon as the first time you see the Gundam, it has to be like badass. It has to be like you know at least like 10 levels, above the competition. So it's very true to form there. I know a lot of people were kind of like, really? Okay, so the gun bits, or the funnels, those usually don't come out until like at least the second half of the series, but they kind of showed it this early, and a lot of people were like, really, this early? but it plays in the plot very well, because it's um I believe it's gonna be a big plot device.
Yeah, I was looking into that. We'll talk about that once we start theorizing. If you see me looking off to the side, that's because like I'm pulling up Gundam information right now just to see if I can get the names of these characters and stuff like that. Like I said,
Mhm.
like I like this series, but I wasn't as invested to know all their names. I just know like a few of the main characters, Ariel and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, man, like just to wrap up this prologue talk, the ending is, like I said, the ending was really sad. Like seeing that it was her dad's birthday, and then like you see like
It,
Aerie.
it was it was
Was
her
it Aerie's
birthday.
birthday?
Yeah, it was
It
Aries'
was Aerie's
birthday.
birthday. Okay, so it
Yeah.
was Aerie's birthday. But like what was crazy because like you see Aerie piloting the Gundam and thinking it's like a game because she's like pressing the buttons and like was she communicating with it? I think that's what it was. And
We're still to find out how exactly, that's one card they're keeping from us right now. It's just like how
okay,
exactly the gun format works, and how it intertwines with the pilot.
because she wasn't affected by the Gundam AI, because usually everyone else they suffer some sort of like physical or mental backlash. But
Yeah,
when Eri piloted the Gundam, she was like fine, and then that's why she was able to pilot the Gundam, and then she's taking off with her mom and like singing Happy Birthday, thinking like she's blowing out candles, like, well, really she's killing people. So like it's
yeah.
insane just to see that. And then like I said, when she was like singing Happy Birthday, thinking that it was all like fun, but then not
Mhm,
realizing that they're on the run now from the military. And
mhm.
so they kind of just like ended off at that. And I thought that was pretty dark just to end off a prologue. But
Yeah, no, it leaves you like my jaw was dropped, like, what the hell did I just watch?
now that we got through the prologue here, anyone else who's watching or listening, if you want to give your thoughts, please comment below as well. But as the series picks up, we kind of just it's kind of like just a time skip at this point, and now we have a teenaged Suletta, and then her mom also changed her name to Prospera. So like they kind of changed their identities to fit in into the school that Suletta is, and this is where we meet like all the kids and like all the other politicians, and who their families are and the groups are. And so, Saletta gave me a really bad first impression. Like I cannot
A lot
stand
of
her.
people, a
I
lot of
like I
people,
like
yeah.
her look, but I could not stand her. I mean, the actress did great playing her, but
Mhm.
just her character writing was so freaking terrible. She's like Kobani times 10, dude. Like just you seen that Adam Sandler meme? He's like, Today, Junior is like, I,
Yeah.
so like she keeps stuttering and she never like talks, and she's always like, I get the whole like social anxiety or like insecurity thing, but it just got so overplayed throughout this whole first season. And like just seeing her trying to fit in, and then like seeing how the kids were already like weary of her because she's from Mercury, and then she's already being questioned about her Gundam, and the mobile suits are not really meant to, I guess, fight the way how hers is. But then like that's when like what is it, the first or second episode where right away she gets into like the sparring match or like the battle contest or
Oh,
whatever.
that was at episode 1.
Yeah. So like right away she gets into like a fight. So, what were your thoughts on just this first pilot episode?
Oh man. Oh, pardon me. I was the same. I briefly mentioned it earlier. It's just like the tone of it is so different that you kind of like disassociate what happened in the prologue here, because it's just like it seems like a fresh start. There's no callback. There's no like reference to the prologue. It's just so you're kind of just like, so what was the prologue for? But you get there, and then yeah, of course, it's just you see it's a bit like uncomfortable. It's like I'll get like the only way I can relate to it is just like when like I recently been doing conventions and selling art, but there's some people, and nothing against them, some people just don't have the social skills, but you have to stand there and talk to them because they're at your table and you can't tell them to leave, and I don't want them to leave. It's just like I don't want to make this uncomfortable for you, and like or anything like that. But it's just like
It's
I don't know
gonna
how
make
to
it
talk to you.
uncomfortable for me.
Yeah, or it's not that. It's just I don't know how to talk to you right now. I don't want to make it
Yeah.
awkward. But it's kind of like that. That's Soletta's level of like social anxiety. And it's naturally just kind of like a bit uncomfortable. But I do like how despite that, you see her kind of like take action.
Yeah.
The first thing you see her do is take action, and she quote unquote saves Mjolnir from floating in space. One by which I I really like Mjolnir's. She's the kind of the tsundere, just a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So that and her voice actor, Lynn, amazing job. Like anytime she goes like "ha," it's like, to me it's like music to my ears. Anyways, so going into everything, you see them play out a little more, but then as soon as they get into the battle, and you see before that, Soletta kind of standing up again to Guel, who is at this point a complete like a-hole. He's a complete like dick. But you see them fight, and then
Yeah, he's pretty much like the frat of the school,
yeah,
the frat boy of the school.
yeah. But they do this like teasing thing, because the first time you see them, you think it's Soletta behind there, but it's actually Mjolnir.
Mhm.
She hijacked Ariel, and then you see Soletta comes and she takes it back. My goodness, the freaking like the first battle, man, I still get chills thinking about it, because like just seeing her activate the gun format to shoot off the gun bits, and the way they time. Sorry, I'm geeking out right now.
Go ahead, talk about it, because you'll do a better job explaining it than me.
No, but the way they like timed the score to match the animation so well. Not to mention the freaking animations. It's like it's 2D mix. It's none of that 3D stuff. It might be 3D, but like it's like in the
It's blended
2D
very
style.
well. Yeah.
It's kind of like how Demon Slayer, they actually use a lot of 3D in theirs to get some of their angles, because it's just it's improved the workflow process, but it's not like Beastars or Trigun.
Right.
And it was obviously that, but back to the music. Soletta blocks a shot, and man, that the sound when the beam hits the shield, that like the ricochet sound, it's so like it's so like crisp and so good. But then to top it all off, as soon as the smoke clears and you see that like Ariel is unscathed, you hear the solo singer come in with the singing, and it's just like it gives me freaking chills, man. It's so good. And then to see, and then the slight man, I need to stop. But then the slight pause, right before the funnels shoot, the gun bits shoot, it's just perfectly timed. They timed. You can tell that they worked with the music to time that whole sequence. It's a work of art, and I see all the work that went into it, and beautifully done, amazingly done. So
Yeah, just like to kind of just piggyback off that, the music is freaking insane. Like you sent me that YouTube video with the choir or like the orchestra playing it.
yeah,
Man, that fantasy battle like type of feel like or theme that they have for this show, it's insanely like well written, well composed. Um, but yeah, man, just seeing how that, and that's just only the first episode. We're not breaking down every episode. We're just talking about the prologue and like how it just how it progresses to this first episode. But it's insane to see like how the shifts change like that, the storytelling change. It went from like really dark in the beginning to like this My Hero Academia-esque feel. So that's why like
it's just like it's like a high school, and again, not a lot of people liked it for that. Just because it's like it's too like tropey with like not most like high school anime type stuff.
Yeah, it was literally a slice of life in outer space with robots. And
Pretty much,
but I just I wanted to just like talk about like how the show how they made they still made impactful moments in Witch of Mercury, but like they still kept the youth aspect, because as viewers we're reviewing this in the eyes of like these kids who don't know like the behind the scenes or like the politics or the war, or like they're all just going to school learning how to use mobile suits or like how to build things and stuff like that. So there's like different factions or different houses that they have in the school here. And then like I said with Soletta, like she's the odd one out, so she's trying to fit in wherever she can, because I believe this is like her first time going to like an actual school where there's people that she can converse with. And so that's why she's like so awkward. But then seeing how her and Mjolnir like first meet, and then like Mjolnir proposes to her right away, just like whoa, like where is this coming from? And then even like Guel tries to get in on the action too, like he proposes to Soletta too at one point. So it's crazy to see like how Soletta went from literally being a nobody to now everyone's eyes are on her because of her Gundam.
Like,
so
pretty much.
But as the show progresses, you learn like about the other characters. Like Shadiq is one that I liked. Like the actor for him did very well. But like him, you learn about Nika. I have their names. Some of their names.
Elan.
I can't pronounce
Man.
the girl with the poofy hair. How do you say her name?
Oh, Choo Choo.
Choo Choo. Yeah, her. And then like,
dude, she's so badass, man. I love her.
Yeah, I like her voice actress, man. Her voice actress did really well. Like you just learn about these other characters, like all the Mercury folks and then the Earth folks, and then like typical Gundam, there's politics between folks who are outer space and folks who are on Earth.
Well, because in most Gundams, it usually is like the government. It's like different. It's like the Middle East. It's the UK, America. It's usually these countries that are at war with each other, but in this case it's not traditional in that sense, because it's these companies that run the world, and it's these houses, this Grassley, Pale, and Jeturk, and
is it like Mjolnir's family too, right?
Yeah, and he's the one that leads it, I believe.
Was it Delling? Is he Delling, or is it another character?
Yeah, Delling Rembrandt. Yeah.
Okay, so just kind of like add on to that. It's kind of like modern day, with all the big pharma and like Elon Musk.
It's crazy when you.
It's very similar to that. That's why I like this show though, because it's very similar to today's world.
Once you draw the parallels, you're like, this isn't too far fetched.
Yeah, it's very similar to how today's world is, with all the big companies buying each other out, and then like you realize like Pepsi and Hershey's and all that shit, they're all like different
Dude,
companies, but they're all under the same umbrella.
yeah, dude,
Like,
like what is it? Like General Mills, like holy crap, they own so much.
like I went into a rabbit hole of that, just like seeing who owns what, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
God damn, bro. Like, no wonder people like no wonder there's companies like increasing prices on certain things but dropping prices on another because it kind of evens out anyway because it makes you go buy the other product since it's cheaper.
yeah.
And like at the end, like the big company gets paid anyway. So
It's like
to come back to the Gundam topic, but it's you see how like the story changes, right? Because you see how Mirane, she doesn't want to follow her father's footsteps. She doesn't want to be a part of the whole like politics scene. Um, Suletta is just trying to go to school and be a student or be a pilot, you know. And
she's just trying to get down her list of
yeah,
things she wants to do in school.
he's kind of like Captain America, right? Where he had his list.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
No,
kind of like
pretty much.
But like, you know, because she's going to school for her, you know, what she thinks is for her mom. So, um, you know, as the show goes on, you kind of see how the students all like mingle together, how they all get into different houses, what their purposes are. Like, I believe Soletta got into the Earth House, and then they're trying to like build products to improve mobile suits or like to help save people like medically
Yeah,
or something like that.
they want to bring Gundam back to its roots, a Gundam, back to being, it's supposed to help people. It's supposed to
Yeah.
have a medical application, not a military application. So we're gonna use all the funds to research and to develop that, and to show that it's still useful. It's not just meant for like killing the pilots.
Right.
So,
But see, like that's the thing too, though, because they're doing that. That's where like you kind of see like the other students, like Shadiq in their house, or like who's the guy that Tanjiro voices? Ilan. You know, like
yeah.
you see them like they're intervening, trying to get Suletta to join their side. Like, hey, you know, like we can help you, and we got the funds, and like, we just need you and your Gundam on our side. Because again, Suletta is the key here. Like her or Ariel is the key
Ariel,
because of the
yeah.
whole format of the Gundam system and the AI. Like it's because it's different, and this is because I can't say much on it yet because I have not read the manga yet. But even in the anime, they have not explained like exactly what Ariel is.
And that's one of the things that I love about it is because there's not being a non-manga reader, there's no one to freaking ruin it for me because there's no manga, there's no
there
source
isn't
material for this. That's why I love it, because it's just like,
Oh, I thought there was a manga this whole
only
time.
no.
Okay.
So that's what, like, I guarantee you, if there was, I would have read it.
You would actually go read a manga?
This would have been the one that made me get into it. Yeah.
But you know, because Ariel, there's no one knows, or even the viewers, like we don't know what the exact like meaning for Ariel is. All we know is that the way how Suletta uses it is like the next evolution, or like the next step to the mobile suits or the Gundams. And so that's why like the military is trying to get their hands on it. That's why like the medic, but then you see Suletta in their house, they're trying to use that as a medical application. And then like a lot of the adults in this show, like very much anime fashion, like the adults come in and start putting in their theories, or they're putting in their ideas, and like, hey, we need to start doing this, you know, because this is where this is the point of the show where I like, where you see that, man, like that it's Attack on Titan was like the best parallel I can do with it, because like they make it seem like, man, like these kids are gonna be like successful. They're all gonna work, you know, teamwork makes the dream work type deal. And then like you just
Power
see like
friendship.
yeah, you just see the dark side of like of the show, where and everyone's just like grimy to each other. They're all trying to like undercut each other. The companies are like competing with each other. And then you see Prospera, like, you know, we don't even know like her motive. We know her motive is revenge, but we don't know
To some degree, yeah.
how she's
We don't
gonna
know-
do it. You know,
we don't know to what nth degree like she is exacting that revenge, but she's on some kind of crusade to like get revenge off what happened. But if I could,
yeah.
if I could backtrack a little bit, because
Go ahead.
episode 6,
Was that the Elon episode?
yes,
Yes. Okay, I was
This-
gonna bring that up.
this is when you realize, oh yeah, the prologue was a thing. This shit is gonna get dark. And the episode boots off with that because it shows uh Belle talking with Prospera, and then again you put two and two together. Belle, who looks older than Prospera, calls her senpai.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like wait a minute, and then she drops some numbers. She's like, I forgot how many years. She
I actually
said.
read this recap. She mentions like something about like you don't want to have this 21-year-old and then she gets cut off.
Yeah. And then but then you put two and two together, it's just like, okay, Soletta's 17.
Yep.
Ari was 4. Some maths don't really work out right now. So one thing I love about the show is they are constantly like they're constantly misleading you, but they're also leaving breadcrumbs. If you're invested enough, you'll pick up on these things, and you start to like lose trust in what the show wants you to believe, and start to wonder, what is the show hiding from me? that sense of mystery is also what man, I'm telling you, one day, it was right after I watched episode 6, that day that it released.
It's a conspiracy. Everything's a
It,
conspiracy.
it is, man. It was like 1:30 in the morning. I was about to go to sleep, and I was like, okay, well, let me check something. So I started looking into it. Next thing you know, it's like 5:30 in the morning. That's how long I went down the rabbit hole, like, of just like trying to like piece some things together. Because yeah, as it turns out, like, Elon is not really a clone, but he's like a surrogate. Like
But it's not him though. It's not the real
it's not-
body.
yeah, it's not the real body. It's just the face, that was implanted or something like that. And then you see him, kind of like having, after their battle, Suletta kind of like, gets through to his heart. And
He battled Soleta so he could, because he wanted to take Ariel from her, right? That's why they battled.
Because he was pretty much salty because he was a witch. He was a Gundam user, but he was being affected by the data storm, is what they call it, like the
program, or the Gundam program, right?
No, it's the side effect.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's called, data storm. So he gets affected by it a lot, and he's like, why is she not affected by it? Like, this is what kind of draws his interest into her. And then he pilots Ariel, and he's like, if I win, I get to keep Ariel, pretty much. So that's what he was doing, because he pretty much, he really had no purpose. He did what he was told, and he didn't like being, under the data storm of the Gundam. So yeah, and then episode ends, and happy birthday,
Bro,
takes another life, man.
dude, that like I said, it took me a while to kind of like appreciate this show. It was like that episode made me like, I texted you right away. I was like, yo, like what the fuck just happened? Because like when that happened, I wasn't expecting him to die. I was caught off guard by him being like the surrogate or the clone. But then like
Yeah.
when they took him out, I was like, yo, what the hell just happened? And then like later on his real body shows up too. So like
Yeah.
you kind of learn that like they're experimenting with these kids behind the scenes, and they kind of like eventually. I mean, later on we're gonna talk about like our theories on why they do this too. But that I was not expecting that, and then like
No one was,
even
man. It was
like,
way out of
and
left
it
field.
was again, it was sad because like Soleta, like just like the prologue, she was waiting. She was singing happy birthday and she was waiting for him, and he didn't show up.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna take a few jabs because I was the one who was like pressuring you to watch this. Like, I was trying to hype you, like dude, you gotta freaking watch it. Like, I can't tell you what happens, but like when you finally did, I was like, because man, it literally had me speechless. Like how fast it turned, and it was at that moment that I remembered I'm watching a Gundam series, because like Gundam series usually have a lot of death, a lot of like real twisted darkness.
Yeah, it was just it was crazy seeing that, and after that, that's where like you kind of start seeing like the shift, the tonal shift of the story, because now you're seeing like the kids trying to do more adult things, and then like even there's tension between Soletta and her mom because like Soletta doesn't know what to do, for the school, or should she listen to her mom? And then like uh as like I guess you could say like as the war behind the scenes like starts leaking into the school, like that's where it really picks up because now you see like folks like Shadiq and his crew, like they're working
Mhm.
with people behind the scenes, and he has a big play in this show.
His adoptive father
Mhm.
is telling him what to do, and he's obeying, but he's kind of like getting ready to like at any moment just take it and take over the show himself. He actually cares for Miorine a lot, and
Mhm.
he actually in their battle sequence, he is the one. He's having like monologue saying like you know Soletta is a good girl. She never tells any lie, but um she can't protect you and guide you through this world. So he's kind of like taking it upon himself to like I'm gonna step up and take the reins and lead her. And he probably has his own motivation for ambition too, but it's
Sounds
he,
more like he
he
just wants to pick me. Why aren't you picking me?
right. Why is it not me? Why is it her? uh More and more is unfolding of how like twisted the world is. We're under the umbrella of the school and thinking that it's like all safe, and like you said, the power of friendship. But then the more further we get into the series, the more we're like, yo, this is getting dark.
Yeah, because like even when they were doing like the team battles and stuff, like you see like Shadiq and his squad, like they were tearing Soletta and her team apart too. And
Yeah.
then like and that was a big moment too, seeing like Soletta fight the team on her own. Like was it like 1v5 or something like that?
Yeah,
And then like her
it was 1v5, yeah.
yeah, and like she pretty much soloed them until like the end where her teammates like built that gun really quick and like sniped them. Uh,
Oh my god, Choo Choo's
like
such a
that was a
badass
good
man.
scene too. But because you kind of see like this is where you kind of see like who the traitors are, because
Hmm.
we learned that even and towards like I believe it was around that end of the end of that episode or maybe the one after where you see like Nika is the one that's like giving them all the tips, all the information that they need on Soletta and what they're doing, and so just like a lot of very grimy, like I said, very grimy betrayal stuff that's going on. Um, Oh, then there was a part I wanted to talk with you. I don't know if you remember this, but like, do you remember that fortune teller that was like
Yes,
telling Soletta
that
something?
was that was a part of the big theories.
Oh, okay.
Because
Before you continue, that this is when they were doing like the whole meeting, right, with all the companies.
no, this was this was before she fought Elan.
Oh, well, yeah, I
Because
must have
remember
missed that
they
part.
were doing this and they just finally house the Earth House finally accepted them in. Because
Oh, okay.
she was kind of hesitant. She was like, Spatians are, all. She was pretty much prejudiced towards Spatians, in which you can kind of understand why. That happens, and then Elon invites her on the date.
Oh yeah, okay. Now I'm
Yeah,
remembering. Okay, and then she meets the fortune teller.
yeah,
But like, which we'll touch upon this. I just wanted to clarify that before we move on. But let's see what else happened before, because I don't want to jump into theories. That there's still a few more like moments that I wanted to talk about, like that I really liked, because when the Mercs came in towards the end of the show,
yeah.
and like you learn that there's other witches out there besides like Soletta. What's her name? Like because I think she's gonna be a big play later on too. Um, what's her name? I cannot.
The Earth witches.
The Earth Witch, yeah, because she's the one that Soletta fights. I don't know if
Uh,
they have her
there
on
was
here.
two of them, but let me see.
'Cause isn't one the one that's voiced by the girl that you like, Asami Seto, right? Isn't she one?
Oh no, she's she's part of the Grassley house.
Oh, okay.
Sabina. She's kind of like the one who's in the meeting with them when
Well,
Soletta
with like
and
Shadiq and
Shadiq.
all them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm guessing she's like second in command, but the let me see, the Earth witches are named Sophie and Nore.
Sophie's the one that she fights. That Soletta fights.
Yeah, so Sophie's the one who's like kind of like, you know,
She's kind of like Toga from My Hero. Yeah.
She's
And so like
a little off the rails and like pretty sadistic. And she like doesn't like me. She doesn't do what she's told. She just does what she wants, pretty much.
see, and like this is where it wasn't towards the end of the season where I enjoyed or like started like liking the show, because
Yeah,
this is where the Attack on Titan stuff started picking up. And like, after all the politics and stuff, you learn that like, even uh Mirene's dad is like backing her. You learn about the Turks. Like, didn't he get betrayed? Like Guel's dad, he got betrayed. Because
yeah.
you think like they kind of like narrate that like he's
tr-
like the main villain at first.
yeah, they're trying to. He was trying to work with Grassley. He was trying to work with Shadik.
Mhm.
But then because he was saying that like okay, uh, launch the attack, but after I leave. So like in like I think like 2 hours or something like that. But Shadik launches the attack right away.
Yeah.
And then we missed the part where um we just completely like glanced over Guel. We'll talk about him later, but how he ended up leaving the school, and somehow ended up caught in that crossfire.
But he wasn't he on the ship that got taken over by the Mercs though?
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
Yeah, because he's not in the school no more.
Bob.
So he was like, I believe he was like working or doing something.
Yeah.
And
We don't know what it was. His dad told him that like I'm withdrawing you from the school. I have another place for you to learn how to lead and run a
yeah,
company.
and he was in outer space when all that shit went down.
Yeah,
And, like,
pretty much.
I guess since we're talking about Goel too, like his character development is very big too, because again he starts off very aggressive, very it's all about me, like I'm trying to prove everyone wrong type of deal. He's got like a big
Mhm.
chip in the shoulder, right? And then
He finally
once he gets
knocked off his
humbled,
high horse. Yep.
yeah, he gets humbled down, and then like even when he's not in the school no more, like he realizes like all the other houses or all the other people in the houses started treating him like shit, and then
Mhm.
Soletta is the only one that's like, still being nice to him. It's-
Yeah.
and then but yeah, like to kind of just lead this up towards like the end of the season, like his big moment was like when he kills his dad by
Yeah.
accident. Like
That was I have a little I have small qualms with that. But yeah, he does. And it's I feel like it was kind of robbed of the depth of it. But I feel like yeah, you can't really there's a lot going on already. You can't really like
highlight
tie
that.
too many tragedies at once.
Yeah, because like the last two episodes, there's a lot that went down like emotionally too. Because like with Soletta, with her and Prospera, Guel,
She was having like a identity crisis as
yeah,
well. Like and where Mjolnir, that whole exchange, it was like a lot. It's a lot of people will hate it because it's like kind of like Yuri baiting.
oh
Um,
okay,
but like I personally I don't see it that way. I can see how people would think that way, but I just see it as two people who like found someone that they needed in their life. It doesn't not necessarily have to be like a romantic thing. Um, but yeah, they have that exchange, and then you know, Mjolnir is being tsundere with it.
see, like this is where I don't like this is where Soletta still irritates me though, because like you've been with this squad that helped you for this long, and then like all the like these self doubts kick in, and then like she started feeling like I mean I guess there was some sort of play. I guess Shadik and his squad were playing in on it too. I guess like they're making her feel left out, or wasn't it Alan that mentioned to her like
Yeah, it was
eventually
Elan
they
who
won't
kinda,
need
like,
you. Like
planted the
Soletta's
seeds
gonna
of
be
doubt.
so, or Mirene's gonna be so busy where she's not gonna have time for you type of deal. Like they were
Yeah.
already like giving her hints on that. So
Yeah.
like that's why like Soletta was starting to feel kind of left out. And
I
then
mean,
it's just a
I'll be
lot of
honest.
high school stuff.
I get that. I get how people would perceive it that way, but like I'll be 100% with you, man. I have been there, and it wasn't even that long ago. So you like it seems childish until you're actually there. Like getting kind of real here. I've been in a situation where um like there were people in my life who were telling me a lot of things like to doubt myself. Initially, you don't want to believe it. You're like, no, it's not true. But then those seeds of doubt kind of like start taking place in areas where they're not supposed to be. Then you start to kind of like see things here and there, and then you just really kind of like give up. It's like, yeah, I know we're getting kind of deep here, but like, you know, it sucks. I didn't want to be there, and it's probably why I really love this moment so much, because I can actually relate to that so much. Where, like, no matter what you do, you want to make yourself good. You're trying your best to like do good and to be good enough to be useful. But you know, you get that self doubt, and you like, I mean, you can't help but like face it, you know. So you know, I get how some people would think it's childish, but to me, it was
No, but I mean, anyway, I guess it seems childish because they are teenagers. But then
Mhm.
the exchange, like you said, with her and Mirane, like Mirane assured her, like, hey, look, like even though this is going on, like I got your back. Just be there for me when I need you. Like who
yeah.
cares about what other people think or what they say about us? Like if we have each other's back, like we're good. Like that's it. And like right when it gets like very romance esque, like that's when the ship gets attacked, and then this is where,
It's
like,
like it's like that was the calm before the storm, because it
yeah,
does not slow down after that.
yeah, and then like it's just, man, like I can't even put it into words like how they ended the season, man, because it's just you see, Guel go through the thing with his dad, because he was trying to prove his dad wrong. Like he's like I'm a good pilot. I can do
He was
this.
trying to prove himself,
Yeah,
because
it just seeing I wish that moment was a little bit like you said. I wish it was more, but then there was already so much going on at once. Like you can't highlight that either. And so, but then they
yeah,
made it very straight to the point where like he fights off to survive, and then like you you hear like over the comm, he asks, "Is well, are you still alive? Are you okay?" And he realizes like that was
he
his
just killed
dad
his dad. I was like,
that he attacked.
Jesus.
And then he was like, "Dad, eject out of that seat. Let me save you." He's like, "I can't. There's like it's too late." And then boom, he just
He
explodes.
pushes him away, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my god, bro! Like that. Like that scene made me like feel so bad for Guel, and I cannot wait for season 2 to see what his mission is
well,
for season
I have
2.
to correct you to be politically correct. Technically, it's core 2, season 1, core 2,
Or is it core 2? I thought it was season 2. I thought they announced
core 2.
no, I think they announced it as season 2.
Oh, you know what? Maybe they did. It's just
Because
it's
it's next month. I know Crunchyroll. Let me look. I just want to make sure because I know Spy Family did core 2, but I think
but
for Gundam,
yeah.
I think it
Okay,
is.
I think okay, it does say season 2. You're right. You're right.
Yes.
It's just 12 episodes for season 1. Come on, anime. What are you guys doing? Like,
No, but I mean, a lot of shows are getting 12, 13 episodes for a season now. I mean, I would rather have that with high quality animation versus a 24 episode span with, derpy moments.
yeah, but like when you but then you get stuff like this where like um that felt rushed. Like again, I have I'm gonna talk about Guel a little more, because I love when characters are written like this, where the show intentionally tells you, hey, hate this person. I want you to hate this person, and then I'm gonna like give them a redemption arc, but a good one, because like I'll be honest, episode 3, when Soleta and Guel have their rematch, um, like that's when you really see that like maybe he's not that bad of a person, but you still kind of like hate his like
Dude,
his
the dude's the
prickiness.
Bakugo of this show, man. Like everyone hated Bakugo in the beginning, and look how many people like Bakugo now, man. He's pretty much the
Um,
Bakugo of this show. Like everyone hated Bakugo in My Hero. He bullies Midoriya. He's so mean to Midoriya up until like the most recent episodes. Oh my gosh, he just sacrifices. He almost died saving Midori. Like, dude, like there's a reason why Bakugo is one of the best characters because
Some
like
people will debate that.
I'm gonna go on
Still.
like this tangent here, man, because like a lot of these young fans who watch anime now hate redeemable characters. It's like they don't believe in redemption no more.
Well, because they're so prideful in their judgment. They're so prideful in thinking that like, oh, that's a bad person.
No, because like My Hero is a good example of this, right? Because look at Endeavor. Okay, Endeavor is top 2 hero. The dude was a shitty father. We give him that. That's what he is. He's a shitty father, right? And as Horikoshi writes him later on in the manga or in the anime, you start seeing like, man, this guy was just blinded by his jealousy of All Might. He just wanted to be the best, and because of that, he blindsided his family, or he overlooked his family because he wanted to be the best. Like that's how bad pride can be. Where like it's good to where you want to be the best, but it's also bad to where you start hurting people. Excuse me, unintentionally. And so you see in the show where Endeavor's like he starts picking up his pieces and he starts trying to redeem himself, and then like you see his consequences come. Dabi is his biggest consequence. His oldest son is a fucking villain, and that's his consequence. So that's why like all these young fans who hate like Horikoshi for writing Endeavor in that certain light, I'm like, dude, like
they're needed. These characters are needed in the show.
Like you see that meme, like let him cook. Like this is exactly where I was like let Horikoshi cook, man. Let him cook,
man.
Let him cook because he's writing a good character, and that's why I said with Endeavor and Bakugo, like these are the characters that are so well written. And again, back to Guel. Guel is going to be that type of character. He's going to be the character that you hate to love at the end, or you love to hate it.
Well, no, I mean you're already kind of in that way because again, when in episode 3 when he's fighting, and it's the AI fighting and not him, he's like has his own pride. He's like. And then he finally breaks free, and then in the last scene of the battle, he's like, this is my fight, only my fight. Like no one's gonna fight this for me. Like
right.
He's like, I'm not fighting for you guys. I'm fighting for me, and that's where he's like, okay, you're an asshole, but you have you mean well.
Yeah, no, he's got his own sense of pride and his own merit that he has to follow.
Yeah, he doesn't want anyone to fight his fights for him. So
yeah,
but I don't want to go too far into the theory crafting yet because we haven't really gotten there. But this is gonna have major implications in season 2. Season 2.
Oh yeah, dude. I think Guel is gonna definitely play a big part in the next coming season. Like, his character arc is the one I want to watch the most.
No, like actually, it got to that point for me. Man, so I remember when they were trying to recruit pilots to fight Grassley, when Soletta came and asked, she ran into Guel and asked him to fight with them. I thought this guy was gonna say yes, and I was like, "Yo, here we go." But then he declines. I'm like, "Fuck!" It's like, come on. I want to see him get a dub. I want to see him like succeed.
I think if anything, he might go to them and ask them. Well, I think after this, I think he might ask Soletta's squad, like, "Hey, let me join you guys."
Well, okay, so is it okay to theory craft a little?
With Guel, since we're on the Guel topic, then yeah.
So his brother Lauda is actually a half brother.
The younger one. I forgot about him. The younger one.
My theories. He's gonna come to resent Guel for killing their dad, because you can tell he respects. I think it's still his dad, but he just has a different mom.
But you can see like his younger brother is the one that like very much like Guel. Like he follows orders, but he doesn't like disobey like Guel. Like he's to the T. Like he obeys everything.
Yeah. So
they're gonna end up fighting.
they're gonna fight, and I think Guel's gonna have nowhere else to go but to the Earth House. Man, I'm so excited for season 2, man.
Okay, well let's wrap up this season talking and then get to theory crafting, because I think most of our conversation will be in theory crafting. Dude, at the end, like when they get attacked and then like You see Marinette, like, because this is where I like Marinette's character arc too. Like, you see, like, she hated her dad for the longest time.
And then she sees him get hurt, and then
Yeah.
you really see that she loves her dad, even though she's
That's
kinda
what I
like,
liked.
she's again tsundere with it. She's like, you don't get to die on me and stuff like that.
It's just
I digress a little. These characters are written so well. These like every one of them, to me, every one of them, all aspects of the story we have. There's no one. Well, maybe some of the supporting Earth house characters and all the other houses, but of all the sub main characters that we have, like it's like they're deep. None of them are a shell. Even Choo Choo, like she's like, she is holding. I really love what she says when she freaking clocks that girl. And she gets in that fight and just like
yeah.
fucking decks her. Oh, just the sound of that punch was so satisfying. But she says like, you're not carrying the hopes and dreams of your planet, because she knows that like her planet's success is riding on her shoulders to succeed and do well. So seeing that like that she has to hold that responsibility and how well she carries it, like she has no room to be like a bitch about it. So she's a hard ass.
Man, dude,
I love her.
Choo Choo's all work, man. Like she's
Yeah.
serious about her shit. Like, and that's why I liked her character, like, because even she tells Soletta, like, look, we got shit to do. We gotta like do this now. Like, she's very focused on her tasks. But
Yeah.
to carry on like with the end of season 1, man, it's just after they fight and like I do want to touch up on this too, because this is when like we see Ariel use the gun, like all the gun bits form together and make like the big weapon for it. I think this is the first time we see that, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but like if you look at Ariel's armor, Ariel got an upgrade.
I see. You mentioned this. I have to go back and watch that now because I forgot.
Like,
I don't like. So she got Ariel got a whole new look when that scene happened.
Well, not really a whole new look. It's just like some armor upgrades and the bigger gun and stuff like that. Because normally,
But that was all from the gun bits, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think even like there's some more on the chest piece too. I mean, it's kind of like not exactly as drastic as like Wing Gundam to Gundam to Wing Zero. It's not as drastic as that, but it did get some. That's kind of why I posted that to my story that one time, like, because the Earth Witch goes into the where Ariel is, and then you see like Ariel light up and like holy shit, it's different.
It's alive.
Yeah. But,
Dude, okay, but let's get through this. I do want to start theorizing right now. So at the end, Mireille saves her dad, and wait, hold on, how? Because we're talking about like this is the end credit. So how did season 1 ends after Ariel fights, right? That's where it ends.
Yeah.
After the mercs leave.
So they so Suletta or Ariel and Suletta, they fire off that huge shot, and then everyone leaves because they think that they've done their job already. So
but there's like implications that those mercenaries will come back to, like especially like Sophie and them. They're
gonna be back.
Yeah, because Sophie's already like her eyes are on Suletta because right away like, she was the one that like, oh, it's like Toga from My Hero, like she finds Deku or Uraraka, like, oh, that's who you are. I found you now, so I'm gonna let's be together type thing, So that's why like I can't wait to see when Suletta and her go off again 1v1 because it's just the two witches with their mobile suits fighting. But then like even like I believe it was this ending episode where Suletta was communicating, right? Or it was a prior where she was communicating with the gun bits.
That was during the Grassley fight.
Okay.
Because she was.
Oh, the 1v5, right?
Yeah, because they used the antidote to knock out the gun format, but then she was talking with Ariel, and Ariel comes
right, and then that's when Ariel like went off and did its own thing.
Yeah,
but we will get to that momentarily. So pretty much after that fight scene happens, and then I didn't know that there was a post credit scene. Very very typical Marvel fashion. Like I should have stayed after the credits, but I didn't. I thought once it was done, it was
What?
it.
No, did I tell you to go back and watch it?
Yeah, you told me to go back because
Yeah.
after season 1 ended, I was like, yo, that's so cool. Like Soleta got the or
Oh,
Ariel got the gun
man.
upgrade, right? And then you're like, did you watch the ending? I'm like, yeah, that was the end. You're like, no, go after the credits. I'm like, fuck.
You know how I know you didn't watch it? Because you weren't like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like it's like if your reaction was, yeah, oh, that was badass. Like, no, you didn't finish watching it, and I keep telling Philip this too. Like, Philip, I can tell you haven't watched it yet because you haven't like texted me like what the actual fuck.
So the post credit scene, Mirone is
Oh.
saving her dad. There's still some mercenaries left, and then you see Ariel come in and splat. And before we do touch upon this, I do want to mention this as well. Like we keep skipping over a lot of important things, but the talk,
we skipped over, yeah,
but the talk between Ariel and her mom,
or Soleta and her mom, yeah.
oh yeah, Soleta and her mom, and Prospero has like this Winter Soldier esque phrase that she tells her, like,
Exactly.
you run, you gain 1, you move forward, you gain 2, and I love this quote. It's like a good, it's a very good mantra, bro.
I even wrote
It's
it
like
down.
it's very like go beyond plus ultra.
Yeah,
It's a very good mantra, but
until you find out that it's a conditioning phrase.
I know,
Like, fuck.
but
I didn't
it's
memorize it in Japanese, man. Like, god damn it.
dude, it's you see what Prospera is doing though. Like this is
Yeah.
again when we theorize, we'll touch upon this. But you see that she tells Soleta like, "Fine, it's fine to run. You'll survive, but if you move forward, not only will you survive, but you can help others." And like this phrase plays out throughout the whole series. All right,
It
so
does. It carries the
it-
show. It really does.
it makes Soleta thinks of this phrase whenever she's in doubt, whenever she
Mhm.
doesn't believe in herself, whenever she's in a battle. It's like this carries her in a positive manner up until where we get to this final scene where she saves Murine. And in her mind, after saving Murine because of that phrasing, she's like, she comes out the suit, blood is all over her. She's like, Murine, I'm here to help you, with her hand extended out, and she's smiling.
And she's smiling. It's like, no. And the blood is like, they do so well with that animation. Like, seeing like urine.
It's like the contrast to the tomato, though. You noticed that, right? The
yeah.
blood.
And I was actually going to get into that because
yeah.
Right after I showed you this already, but right after that episode, one of my favorite artists, Nitty2D, he's really into the show too, and I follow his tweets and translate them, obviously. But he posted that scene and he posted this, the tomato flavored chips, and these are actually good, but it's like not the best time to be advertising tomato flavored chips.
But just you see what Soleta does and what she thinks is an act of good. Like, I saved my friend. She was
Right,
gonna
yeah.
get killed. I saved them, and so she did what she thought was right. She attacked that person with Ariel, using Ariel. But in Murine's mind, she's like, "Bro, what the fuck did you just do? You killed someone."
She calls her like a murderer. Like,
And then it just cuts
like-
off there.
I mean, it's like it's oh man, it's such a ghastly and haunting scene. Like I used to like while I'm waiting for the next episode to come out, I would just watch clips and I would watch rewatch episodes because it's just like, I love the show. I get excited. I get a lot of hope watching it. But after this, bro, I couldn't watch anymore. Like, I couldn't go back and like watch my favorite scenes from the previous episodes because just how like much the scene haunted me, because they do so well with like the cinematography of it to let you know that this is very twisted. It's like out of a horror anime aspects, kind of.
Oh yeah, like because you wouldn't, and like I said before, like this is where it got very Attack on Titan for me. Like, and that's why when I texted you after watching the post credit scene, I was like, bro, where was this when I needed this, man? Like, this is what I wanted to see throughout the whole fucking show, and it wasn't until the fucking end that this happened.
Was telling you, I was telling everyone who doubted the show, I was like, just hang on, just stick with it. It will not disappoint you in that regard. You want something deep and dark, it's gonna happen. Like, you think the show is too lighthearted, just wait.
But like this was my only, like, I guess, thing I disliked about Gundam. It was like it took so long to get to this point. Like I honestly think like they could have cut back on the whole school stuff. But storytelling wise, I get it because it's mostly world building because you want to know the politics and who the houses are and stuff like that. But once it got to this moment and then it was the season finale, I was just like, what the fuck, bro? Like, it's like, why do y'all gotta play me like that to where, because I was doubting this series this whole time and just watching it for the sake of it up until where that happens. And then like you just see now, because now after what Soletta did, imagine like what's gonna happen when she meets up with the other house members. You know, oh, and even with Nika, because we found out that, you know, because we learned that Nika's the traitor.
I wanted to talk about.
And then one of the Earth House people catches her.
Martin's...
Okay. See, I knew we were missing something important because she's the one that calls off the battle. She tells the mercenaries.
She signals to the mercenaries, you know, hey, you know, we're allies here, you know.
Yeah. So don't attack us, like, or at least don't attack the spot.
Yeah.
And then
so
that's when, like, one of the.
You know, I wrote a list of like my burning questions, and one of them at the top of it is, what's Nika's deal with the Grassley house? Because you can tell that she doesn't want to be where she is. She's kind of like being held against her will to do something. There's something being held against her in order for her to want to do that. But you know, that's gonna come through, and it's just like, well, what's gonna happen now? Like, there's so much that questions that are just floating in the ether right now that I can't wait to see how the show is gonna resolve them. But yeah, because when you first meet her, she's the first person that helps Soletta. So you're like, oh, yeah. she's a really good person. And you even see her like get scolded for being an Earthling by people at the school, you know. And she's in a real tough place because, you know, even though she's low-key helping out Grassley's House Grassley, she's also still under the stigma of being a you know, an Earthling, and you kind of like sympathize for her, but you also kind of like what do you like? You also kind of hate her because she's like,
because she's double agent, bro. Like, because
it's
because like I was saying, like, that's grimy shit, you know, because she's with the Earth House, and then like she's giving all the data to the Shadiq and his team.
Yeah,
you know, exactly. She's telling them like, this is what we're doing, this is who we're with,
and then,
this is what we're planning.
She connects them to the Earth, which is the mercenaries.
Yeah. So that's why, like, I don't feel bad for her as much, but I do. My question is like, it's more so just the why. Like,
yeah,
what is it that makes you work with Shadiq and his team and not focus on your fellow Earthlings, you know? And so her being caught at that moment, I was like, yes, someone caught her. Like, someone caught her lying ass.
I'm slightly impartial. I will admit that I'm guilty of having favoritism because she's the voice of Rika from Gridman.
Oh, that's
and
okay.
I'm a fan of Rika, so just the way that like she has just a really like down to earth type of voicing. So before we get into the theories, actually one thing that drew me to the show, while we're on that topic, is two things drew me to the show: her voice, and then also finding out that YOASOBI is doing the opening.
If you want to start your own podcast like Spoiler Force, then sign up with Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout has helped hundreds of thousands of users like me to begin their podcasting journey. With easy-to-use tools, you can effectively get your podcast into different platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and more. You can view your stats, create audio clips, and even have your own podcasting website. Buzzsprout offers ideas, tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you improve your podcast. Follow the link below, and once you sign up, you'll get a $20 Amazon gift card. This will let Buzzsprout know that I sent you and will also support Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want a simpler way to record both video and audio for your podcast, then sign up with StreamYard. StreamYard is the perfect program to create podcasts, host live streams, and even do video calls. There are many tools that can help you create and design your own personal studio. You can screen share, read live comments, and stream to different destinations like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also download your video and audio once you're done with your recording session. Follow the link below, and once you sign up with the basic or pro plan, you'll earn a $10 credit to use for StreamYard. Happy podcasting. We can segue this into the theory because like the opening and the music video itself for YOASOBI song,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much
There's a
Easter
lot of
eggs in
hidden
there.
Yep.
Dude, that's what that's why I love the song so much, bro. I can watch that video over and over again because there's so many Easter eggs and so many parallels in just YOASOBI's song, and you know like
And they're known for doing this too. They're known for like, they're not just taking a song that they wrote and, oh yeah, here's the song that we wrote, you can use it for the opening. No, the show writers went to YOASOBI and said, hey, we want a song, here's the story, and they write a song about it. Because they did the same thing for Beastars. Like one of the ending songs, still one of my favorite songs, Yasashi's Suesi. It pretty much tells you what happens, and then once you realize that they're talking about the people in the show, you're like, holy shit. Like, it's not just a song. They even incorporate the characters' names into the song, kind of like puns in the song.
I mean,
but
Japanese
on-
writing is way different from English writing. So,
Oh, it is.
but like to continue with YOASOBI's opening song, man, like it's I personally liked it a lot more than I know you like the ending more, but I like the opening a lot more than the ending. But just the music video, man, like there was just so many hints of Eri, Suletta, and Ariel, man. Like
It shows all three of
just
them.
because of watching that video, that's why I was like, man, what I've been theorizing like crazy. I thought that I forgot when I texted you this, but there was a night where I was like texting you all my ideas of what could
Yeah, I
possibly
remember.
be between Eri, Ariel, and Suletta, because what we think right now is that Suletta's a clone. This is what me and you think, or at least do you still think that? Because I think she's still a clone. But
I think
you
so
know,
too.
but see the thing, my thing is like I think Eri is different from Suletta. I'd say it's different from Elan's situation. I think that possibly that Suletta is still a part of Eri, but they're like two different entities, kind of. So I think that maybe what Suletta is just is what's left of Eri, and that's why like, I'm assuming that maybe because a lot of the theories that I was watching today at work, a lot of the theories assume that Ariel is Eri, because even in that light novel, it gets all in
Yeah.
Ariel's perspective. Ariel's like,
And
you know,
that's
I'm the big sister. Suletta comes
it,
to me and we talk all the time.
it
You know,
gives
like
so
she's
much,
observing
like,
everything.
yeah, it gives so much human characteristics and human personalities to what is supposed to be an inanimate object. It's supposed to just be a machine, that doesn't
Mhm.
think. It's a Gundam, a robot. But they give so much voice, so much concern to it. Even at the point where, like, one of my favorite parts is when in Cradle Planet is when Ariel's telling Suletta, like, run, like, and saying, like, telling her mom, like, don't use her as a tool for revenge. Like, she's innocent. She has no part in this. That really, like, spoke out to me. Yeah, there's some pretty wild theories that I have. So
Well, I mean, we could just get right into it because I would just start off with mine because like I think that just to kind of piggy off that because I do think that Eri is Ariel, but I don't think that, like I said, I think they're just different entities though. I think they're still the same person, just different bodies. I don't know how this works, but I do know that from what I read that the gun bits, the theory of the gun bits was like pieces of, I guess, the soul, right? I guess there was a theory that said like all the gun bits that belongs to Ariel are souls of, I guess, the people or possibly clones of Eri or
Mhm.
Suletta, and that's why like whenever Suletta pilots Ariel, she's able to communicate and it doesn't affect her because it's like parts of her is in that Gundam.
Hmm.
So and that's why the AI or the modification doesn't harm her because it's her. But see,
Right.
and then you go back to the beginning of the prologue where when Eri was playing in the Gundam and like when she connected with it, nothing happened to her.
Hmm.
Even when her folks were using the Gundam the first few times they got hurt. I think what Soletta's mom lost her arm, Prospera lost her arm
Hmm.
trying to pilot the Gundam, and then her dad got affected by it too. So it's these are questions that are not answered yet in the series, but I'm thinking that
I have
eventually
100% faith they're gonna explain everything.
I'm thinking eventually that whatever this reveal is at the end, the Soletta that we're seeing in this show, she's not the real one. Like she's not the character that was in the
Yeah,
prologue.
it's not. And if I can just piggyback off of yours and give my theories, is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead, go for it.
Couple things to note. If I recall correctly, um, I don't remember them saying um, how um, Elnora lost her arm.
Oh, okay.
They just showed that she lost her arm, and the professor helped her. Um, in episode 2, when you first see Prospera and she's speaking to the panel, and defending Ariel, she mentions that she lost her arm uh, in a mining accident in Mercury. I don't think that's a lie. I think that's true because the whole movement for Gundam is to so one thing that's always prevalent in Gundam series is it's far fetched, but it's gonna come full circle. Um, Usually Earth is running out of resources, and so there is a need to go to outer space because Earth's limited resources. So, and then they kind of realize that it's inhabitable, and not possible to sustain living in space. Hence, the need for the Gundam. Now, where do I even start with this? Right off the bat, I think Eri is Ariel. Um, her maybe her body or just her mind fused with. So one thing about Gundam is it's all about the permit, and whenever you see the blue light, it means the permit score is rising above a certain level. Um, when you see Soletta's dad, Aries' dad fighting, when he gives his last breath, his permit, the data storm, he turns blue. And then when he dies, he goes into a tunnel vision with blue light around it. So my theory is that when you go above a permit score, you completely fuse with the whatever the Gundam format. But if you don't have the correct format or the formula, then you pretty much just die in the process. So I think since Eri was able to do that, she successfully fused with the Gundam format. And then going back to Cradle Planet, they mentioned that there's no children on the planet. I forget if they ever mentioned why, but my theory is that the kids from Mercury are the Gunbits.
Mm-hmm.
And that because maybe they found the right format with Lifrith and Eri, maybe Prospera going there was saying, hey, we can save your children type thing. Because maybe the children aren't sustainable. Maybe the children just can't survive in on Mercury and in the whatever the harsh environments are. So that's my theory with the Gunbits. Is that it's the children from Mercury, and Eri is probably a clone because we've why else would they let us know that cloning is a thing? because they not really cloning, but
Wait,
like, you know,
Ares the clone or
facial-
Soletta's the clone?
Soletta's the clone. Eri is
The real one.
Ari's the real one, and she's either like fully 100% fused with Ariel, or her body is still somewhere else, but her mind is
I'm thinking her
is-
mind is in, or her mind or her soul is in Ariel.
is in
and then
Ariel. But, like,
Soletta's the
it's-
body.
It could be that, but they if we're gonna go based off of what they've already showed us, it's not so much of the, you know, body. It's not so much like of body jumping. It's more of like, because Elon tells his clone
Like Ginyu
that,
from
like-
Dragon Ball. The
yeah,
change.
yeah. It's not. There's a certain term for that, like body hijacking or whatever. But he specifically tells it, and I remember because I was like, when I found out episode 6, the plot twist there, I was like, I need to go back and listen to every single thing that they say, because what Elon tells his surrogate is that, you know, that's why we gave you that face. So he mentions that, like, it's not so much of a cloning thing. It's like you were somebody else, but we just gave you this face. And
But it could be different for Soletta though. I don't think that it's like
It could be, but it's the fact. Why else would they show us that? In my mind, it's like, why else would they throw us this little Easter egg and let us know that this is all kind of possible, if it's not going to play out somewhere else in this, you know,
right.
if it's not going to foreshadow something else. Otherwise, it's just kind of like useless information. And if they really just leave it as like useless information, I think they kind of drop the ball with the storytelling.
Well, I'm coming from an angle where I'm thinking that Elon's situation is different because it was unsuccessful. Like, I think maybe when they were experimenting with them, they're using like other kids' bodies. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking with Ari and Soletta, I think she was successfully cloned from the original body. Like they were able to extract DNA from the original body and experiment it and make like a very organic body, versus like Elon, where like they just copy and pasted a face.
Maybe it wasn't a failure. Maybe it actually was a success too, if that's the case. But the thing is that so hang on. So one thing that we don't know yet, we do know that like Belle is the surrogate Elon's quote unquote mother, because we see when he's having his flashbacks, he finally regains some memories that it is her, and so that's when he finally comes to peace that, like, you know, I have had someone there by my side this whole time, you know, because he always just felt alone. So I don't know, we'll have to see. So
Okay,
yeah,
well,
it's
what do you think of the whole cryopreservation then? Because that was another theory too, that like maybe Prospera like preserved her own body and Ares' body,
that's
which is why they
another-
look younger than they should be.
that's a possible theory. I don't know if they're gonna get into that, but it is possible that it's just a whole like what is it, interstellar kind of thing, where like time
Well, no, see, because the
progresses
video I
differently.
watched today was saying like with the whole time on Mercury thing, it still wouldn't work on Mercury because Mercury moves too fast. I think they said that 88 days is a year in Mercury,
Mhm.
but if it was on Venus, it'd make more sense. There's like maybe a plus or minus a couple days or so, but then like the rotation of Venus matches more of the timeline with Aries like
I
age
wasn't
versus
getting-
being on Mercury.
I'm glad
So-
someone brought that up, because like, yeah, well, that could possibly debunk it, or unless they're just gonna do plot armor with that.
I mean
one
that
other
just
theory-
looking into it like scientifically. Like, I'm not a scientist or
yeah.
anything, but like that's what the video I watched said. That which is a good theory. That would be a good plot device.
No,
What
yeah,
if this whole
it
time like they were on Venus this whole time, and like because no one would think that they were on Venus this whole time, right? Because the battle was between Mercury and Earth. No one's gonna assume that like they were sitting in Venus the whole time. Like, oh yeah, we were surviving on here. we were okay.
Yeah. So one other theory that I am not a fan of, I hope it's not true, but I can't deny that it could possibly be true, because someone did the math and mentioned that what if Eri um uh is Prospera and just did the face swap,
Oh,
and then that Suletta
she
is
took her
just
mom's. She took her mom and role instead.
yeah, because the math might add up there.
Possibly.
Um, and then
But then, how would that
Suletta
explain Slutta though? Like,
Suletta is probably could just be another kid that they, um, you know, depending on how the 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 face swapping and body swapping thing is explained, maybe that's just another kid from Mercury, and then
possibly.
they you know injected um Aries' appearance and personality in, because one thing we do notice though when we look at Elon is that he did have trouble remembering things,
Mhm.
so maybe the whole process does disrupt their memory or whatnot.
That's the thing too, though, because even with Soletta's character, she never really talks about her past. All she really
Yeah,
talks
and
about just being with her
which
mom, and then like
which we still
she
need to
mentioned
talk
her.
about the
Yeah.
fortune telling.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. But like she mentions, she just remembers being with her mom, and then calling her older sister, which is like another big theory that it's Eri. But okay, there was one more theory that I ran into today when I was at work. It's kind of just like way off left field, but then they said that it could be that what if Soletta was the sibling of Eri? Like
well,
when But like the age thing though still doesn't match up, but then it's not too far off either though. Like she could still pass as a high schooler.
it could, and and here that's actually one thing with the fortune telling, because when she's throwing rocks out, she's uh, like and she points at one of the big rocks and saying like, "Is this there's someone who's really big and close. There's someone close to you that's really big. Like, do you have any siblings?" And Celeste says no, and that's kind of why a lot of us think that, or it would be easy to think that they are related to some degree. Maybe the siblings because they share the same genes or whatnot. Um, but it's that's kind of a has to be a pure reference to Ariel.
Yeah.
So technically, if you were a clone, I guess you would be a sibling.
I mean, it just depends. I guess it's all perspective on it. Like I think if, for example, if I was cloned,
Mhm.
technically I wouldn't look at him as a sibling, but I think like experimentation wise, like you would say like they're siblings because
Yo,
they're
because
same DNA.
genetically
Yeah, genetically you're the
identical.
same DNA. So you cannot deny that this person is either you or like a part of you. So I think sibling is, I guess, the best word to kind of phrase that to where like how can you name someone that is a copy of you without calling them a
Well,
fucking
because the thing is, like,
copy?
the thing is, like, what's I'm gonna find her name, the fortune teller girl. She mentions her name was
I mean, didn't she mention like a bunch of other kids too at one point? Or
yeah,
was
I
it
think
just that?
so. And then she also mentioned, and it's worth mentioning that she says like two things. And I hate it because I got into an argument with some people on Reddit over this because
Of
because
course.
they um because when Ariel sees a picture of of the professor Granny, she doesn't remember her. She has no recollection of oh, when Soletta is looking at the picture of her, no recollection. She's like, I've never seen this. I've never like I've never seen this person, and she doesn't remember her dad dying. And I
Mhm.
hate it because people were saying, "Oh, she was 4 years old. How can she remember it?" I'm like that would be. Oh, I'm gonna say this now. That would be shit writing. If you're just gonna like write off certain coincidences by saying, "Oh, they just forgot," it's like, oh my god, what shit writing. So that has to play into this into the part somehow that Soletta doesn't remember them. Has to be some kind of evidence that there's something going on. Um, So
I haven't looked into that at all. But yeah, that makes sense. I think that makes sense because like
'cause
I said,
remember
like they've never the show has never like got into the background of Soleta either.
we have no background. She's
Yeah.
a complete mystery at this moment. And again, this is the rabbit trail I was going down. This is the exact rabbit hole I was going down on after episode 6, because I was just piecing everything together. I'm like, okay, Ellen doesn't remember, and Soleta doesn't remember. Maybe they're both clones because they both have trouble remembering stuff. And then fast forward, Elon was doing what he was being told to do, and so was Soleta. So
Well, I guess before we do just wrap things up, man, I just hope that this upcoming season just answers at least a quarter of the questions that we have, because, like I said, there's so many things going on with the houses, Guel, Shadik's, what he's doing behind the scenes, the Earth mercenaries, and then we have the main plot, Suleta, Prospera, and Mirne. There's just oh, go ahead.
one house that we haven't seen much from anymore, which I think is gonna have a big part in this upcoming season, is Pale House, Elon's house.
Okay.
Because man, the girls who lead that, they're the ones who like they're wearing that cap, like they look bold, and they're the ones who said kill off that subject. So they are really fucked up. And I think they're gonna have they're gonna have a bigger role upcoming too, because the Jeturk house, Guel's house, is kind of like falling apart right now. Grassley's not exactly falling apart, but you see them like being kind of divided by Shadik's dad and Shadik himself. They both want different things. Pale's the only one we don't know anything about their motives yet. So honestly, they might be the
You think they're the main villains?
Maybe if not the main villains, then they might be like the last. You know how like there's usually like the last enemy that you know of, and then the real enemy reveals himself.
Oh,
It's kinda
okay,
like that.
okay.
They're
Yeah.
probably gonna be that last line of defense before we find the real conflict. This is my theories. I can go on for like hours.
No, I think that because we can go on with theories, but there's just so much unanswered things, which is why like I don't want to, because we can go on forever with what we think and what could possibly happen, but until it actually happens, we'll never know, and that's why like I just want to leave it off at where we're at now, because I think what we have going, or what our thoughts on right now, kind of lines up with what season 2 could possibly be, because we might, the things we talked about in this episode for the podcast, I think there might be topics that we might have been just way far off.
No, yeah,
because
I agree.
Because we don't, like I said, we don't know, everything's up in the air right now, and right now like they ended it off at such a high note to where like we don't know where they're gonna pick back up from. Are we
Yeah.
gonna see when Mirne calls Soleta the murderer, or are we gonna see Prospera come first, or are we gonna see Guel come first? Like there's so many minor things that could all appear in this first episode. So I don't want to say too much either, because like I'm waiting for it. We have less than a month before the show drops again. So I'd rather just wait until season 2 picks back up, and then we can probably just, I'll DM you or something, and then after the season ends, we'll pick back up on another review episode. But
Man,
I gotta say, I'm just overall, I thought this show was just fantastic. I'm pretty sure we missed out on a lot of things, probably misconstrued certain timelines, but all in all, me and you, Michael, dude, like I'm glad that you forced me to watch this, because like I'm not as hyped as you are, bro, but I can't wait for season 2. Like I want to see what's next.
I'm just glad you watch it. Like I throw a lot of anime your way, or a lot of things to watch your way, and you're like, yeah, I'll put on. But you do the same to me. So in all fairness, we're like, oh, we'll put them on our list. But I'm just for real. I'm glad you watched it, because number one, I know how you would easily jump into theories too, and also dude, no one's watching this anime. Like nobody.
No, that's what I'm
watches it.
saying.
It's so good. Well, it doesn't help that it had a lot of it had very steep competition, Spy X Family, Core 2, Chainsaw Man. Those drop the same season, so it's like it's compared to those, it's hard to keep up with the hype of those because you have huge fan followings for both of them. But with Gundam, there's no source material, so no one knows anything about it.
I think maybe that's why, like, I'm not saying it fell off, but maybe that's why there was a lot of less interest in the show because
Well,
there's
that
no source material, there's no
that
manga.
and not a lot of people are into mecha anime.
That's true.
Think about like what's become popular these days. It's just your typical shonen with the tournament arc and
Each episode.
yeah, all that, and just the hype shit. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're good anime, but like it's different for them. And then also with it being different, and if people were curious about it, they're not gonna want to see like a high school anime. But it's just like it's disguised as a high school anime.
I'd
So
say, I mean, like, okay, what are just your overall thoughts then? Like, just all in all of season one, like after what we discussed, like what would you say? Wait, what can you say about just the overall season for Witch of Mercury?
I would say the only qualm I have with it was uh Guel deserved more, like more time and more effort put into his him killing his dad, him accidentally killing his dad, because that happened within like a matter of minutes. It wasn't like even like a long battle. It was like maybe
Mhm.
like 2 minutes at most, and I'm like I felt he was robbed, and I can understand that because like they were really behind, and this is kind of one of the reasons why I said that like I hate that it's only gonna be a 12 episode season, because like yeah, with 12 episodes, some parts of it are going to be rushed, and I really hope that they take their time. I would rather them take their time and do a good job, and not have anything rushed than to meet a certain deadline. That's kind of one of the things I hate that kills the certain parts of the anime industry, are those deadlines. Aside from that, now it's not necessarily a small thing, not a big thing, but aside from that, 10 out of 10. Like everything, the production, the direction, and the misdirection, the character investment, it really pays off the more you invest in the characters.
I think
in
so
their
too.
um the emotion too. I'm very very emotional, and I really like shows that can evoke an emotion out of me. I felt a lot of mixed feelings in good ways watching this. uh Even the music too, YOASOBI, and the ending, man, I jammed to the ending credits so hard. um but yeah, no, I I'm probably gonna get put on a pitchfork for this, but I would, okay, so probably the same level of hype as Chainsaw Man. Wait, it came out. Yeah, it came out the same.
It's around the same. I think it came out a little bit before Chainsaw, but it's around that same season.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. I guess it just all depends on who the viewer is. I honestly think
yeah.
that Gundam was made for an older audience. I guess
It's
definitely
it's
for sure an older audience. Like because it
or
didn't
more like
like
mentally and emotionally mature.
yeah,
Like it's not gonna be your typical like power friendship and you know
right. So, like because that's why like for shows like JJK and Chainsaw Man and like My Hero, like they have their tropes already. Like we know what to expect out of these shows. But for Gundam, it was just like, are we gonna see the robots fight like crazy, or is there more? I mean, typically Gundam always has like the political aspect in all their shows,
mhm.
so that's expected. For at least from when I watch Gundam series, any Gundam series, like that's what's expected. Like there's gonna be conflict and somewhere politically in
Oh
the
yeah.
show. But I'm glad that Witcher Mercury, like even though they did touch upon it, it wasn't like it wasn't the face of the show. Like it was just I just like I said, it's the Attack on Titan plot twist moments where I'm just like, God damn it, I want more. Like I said, I that's why like I was so upset with the kids, man. I was like, dude, like let these kids start killing each other. That'll make it a lot better. Like let them just start killing each other. Dude, like instead of the whole friendship thing, like I want to see them go at it. So I don't know what I mean. I want more. I can't wait to see what they have in store. And I want season 2 just like blow my mind because now that we know how Mjolnir thinks of Soletta, again back to this. Now that we know what Mjolnir thinks of Soletta,
How are they going to recover from this?
right?
It's just
How is
like-
this? How is this dynamic gonna change? And again with Prospera, dude, like the whole run away, gain one, move forward, gain two. Like, how is this going to change Soletta as well? Because now that we've seen this phrase being used for a good thing, now that it's turned bad, it backfired. Like I can't wait to see like what the whole conspiracy is for Soletta. Like I
Yeah.
swear, like she's gonna be freaking Bucky, bro. Like you're gonna see like the flashback and.
I think Soletta is going to become aware of what's being done to her, and she's going to have that conflict. I think she's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
have to face her mom. Because, like,
Oh yeah, that was
If-
one theory.
if-
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up to. Like that was one of the theories that like I wanted to talk about. Like who is she gonna fight?
You said that pretty early on, too, which...
Yeah, like she's gonna fight her mom.
Yeah. If you listen if you translate the lyrics to the opening YOASOBI songs, they mention of them saying like we won't be a puppet anymore, and it happens on the bridge. Oh, and the second verse. So I think that's some subtle wordplay to consider. Not just the animation, but if you kind of like translate the lyrics,
There's like a deeper meaning.
there's a lot of I don't want to say spoilers, maybe spoilers, but there's a lot that is probably going to be relevant to the series. So,
Well, and then one last thing, because all these last minute thoughts are running in my mind right now. One last thing is that I think that we all now that we know that Ariel is aware, I hope that they make Ariel like sentient. Like that joke I told you, like how I compared her to Kurama to Naruto, like
yeah,
Ariel is Kurama. I'm thinking that Ariel is gonna be sentient and she's gonna move on her own. Like either she's gonna disobey Soletta or she's gonna disobey in a way to protect her.
yeah, I think it's going to come to some point like that too. Because we already know that, like, maybe not actively and like physically sentient, but she's, Soletta is talking to Ari, and she seems crazy when she's doing it.
Yeah, no, because when you watch the fight scene, she's like talking to the Gundam, like it seems like she's talking to herself, but she's really communicating with the Gundam. And like even
Mjolnir is like Soletta, like the fuck is wrong?
it's
with
not
you?
real, Like
Yeah,
it's like when you're talking to the game when you're playing a game. It's like that, It's like when
Yeah.
kids do that shit. When they're talking to the game when they're playing, it's like that.
I still
So-
do that.
But I think on one last note, in the music video, I think the end of YOASOBI's music video, I think they show like how they kind of show Ariel at the end and like the centerpiece blinks twice or something like that, and then they show Aries' face in the reflection.
Yeah.
I think that is a play on that Ariel is Aries.
No,
I think that's also a play.
And it's also the whole like naturally you just want to think, oh, it's just showing Soletta when she was younger and Soletta when she's grown up, but then
Like
it
even
also
in
shows-
the music video when they're running side by side, like
Yeah,
I
it
love
shows-
that part, bro.
yeah,
And then you see Ariel fly off into the sky. Like I love that part because I honestly believe they're three of the same people. It's like a Trinity
No.
thing. Like they're the
I-
same people. They're the same person.
yeah, I think so too. I completely agree with that to some degree. I don't know how far down the logical gymnastics are, but they're all intertwined in some
Yeah.
way, shape, or form.
Should we watch it be like fucking Harry Potter and like she's like Voldemort, like she
Oh,
has all the
shit.
Horcruxes, and it's like all over the galaxy.
Oh Jesus!
Like, oh my Fucking-
You do that pretty well.
Fucking Soletta's Voldemort this whole time. Oh my god, dude! Like that would be such a good twist though. Like you find out at the very end she's the villain. She's the Aaron of the show, bro.
You know, maybe it is. You know, I'll be honest. Like maybe Eri is the one who's holding the grudge because she remembers what happened to her dad and everyone.
She
and
sees.
maybe,
I think it comes down to she sees everything.
yeah.
And
Dude,
like,
that would be a big plot twist, man.
wouldn't that be like I'm saying like she's trying to protect Soletta because she's innocent. Like she has no play in this.
Yeah.
But the only way she can carry out her plan is by Soletta. Like Soletta is the only way she can carry out her plan.
Yeah.
So to protect her, she can't tell her everything. But
Well,
then
I was thinking more of on the lines that if Prospera really is Eri.
oh yeah,
like,
maybe
if-
if that theory is true, then that will all come into play. Then that'll make sense. But then wouldn't it kick out the idea of how Ariel is sentient though?
Yeah, because that adds one more to the whole like Trinity. So man, I don't know. It's so crazy. I could literally like there's very little things that I can get this like deep into like theory with, but it's just all in all, this is just really how much this Witch of Mercury like impacted me. I haven't been this much into a series for a very long time. So yeah. Honestly, you should watch.
It's Aaron right at the end. Like all those Aaron memes. It's Aaron the whole time. Bro. He's him, Zoro, and Anya, man. The multiverse anime characters.
Oh my god.
But what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
I can tell you off camera, but like, you should watch Double O.
Oh, okay.
I will tell you off to boot, like the character development is not as deep as Witch of Mercury, and that's one of the reasons why I appreciate Witch of Mercury so freaking much. Because again, characters are very well written. Double O, not so much. But the overall story, it gives you more time to focus on what's going on in the story, in the conflicts and everything. Really good, man. I mean, you would be able to watch it in the meantime until it comes out, but I know you're busy, but not highly recommend it, man.
I probably will try to make time to watch it once I go on my break. So, but that is a good way to kind of just end this episode. I know we
Yeah.
kind of like went on different tangents there for a few minutes there, but overall, go watch Richard Mercury. Even after
Please.
you heard these spoilers, go watch it because it's just that good. Like for me to be like blown away by an anime that I don't think that's the thing. The animes like this is what I respect the most. Like whether it's a slice of life, a shonen, a horror, like any anime that I have, like I go in there with like little to no expectations and that blow me away like this. I highly recommend that any
Mhm.
viewer go watch Witcher Mercury because that's what it was. Um, but also, since we're coming towards an end here, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to Spoiler Force. Go follow Michael on his art page, Art by Kouki. Those links will be in the show notes and all that stuff. Michael, I swear you got to do a Witcher Mercury print or something, man. Like even if you don't like Mecha, you got to do something, man. You got to do something related to that show. At least draw Prospera, bro.
I gotta figure out a way to work it in, and not get not have the FBI on my front door.
Well, then don't draw the young characters. Just draw Prospera.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I actually
Prospera
really
is
do
your
like
your
her
best
voice
bet.
actor, so.
Yeah, Prospera is your best bet to draw.
But yeah, I am. I'll talk to you more about it later. But I'm working out some of the direction of my art and making some decisions on what I want to focus on and what I want to focus on less. So, but
yeah.
yeah.
So this is episode 153, folks. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Again, go follow Michael Art by Kouki on his Instagram page or Twitter. There are tons of more episodes after this. Make sure you guys go check out the Waifu Expo videos. By the time this video drops, I'm pretty sure I'll have those interviews and the extra shit done for Waifu Expo. And then after this episode, I also have more guests coming. So make sure you just follow the socials and get those announcements on there. If there's anything that we've said that we missed or that you disagree on, please comment below in the YouTube comments or Facebook, Instagram, wherever you see the clips. Give us your thoughts, because I know that me and Michael went all over the place because there was just so much to remember, and we could not wait to get our theories out. So forgive us on that as well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, man, because like I enjoyed talking about this. Like Michael said, we have no one to geek out about Witch and Mercury with. So when this opportunity came, we kind of went above and beyond. So
you can tell by like by
how
my voice that-
angsty you are. Like I can't wait to talk about it. But again, go. If you like this, make sure you like and share it with your friends. And but yeah, that's pretty much it. This is episode 153 of Spoiler Force Podcast. Thank you so much, and have a great day. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to give a review and rate Spoiler Force Podcast. If you want to get all Spoiler Force updates or even peeks at behind the scenes, you can join the Spoiler Force Discord community. And if you'd like to show support, give tips, recommendations, sponsorships, or any collaborations, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com.